Hey everyone, it's like 2 in the morning and I was really tired earlier, but I can't sleep, so it's really weird because I feel like the universe is speaking to me because I was rewatching my videos today and I got that feeling that, oh, the universe is speaking to me like I'm supposed to spin out or something. And there's this guy that I met um at a kickback actually from my philosophy club. Oh, I thought it was hailing, but it was really something falling off my bed. Um it's been hailing where I live. So it's this guy that and some other people of course met at this philosophy club and we were talking about the same thing I've been talking about in my videos, like spiraling out and the Matrix and all this stuff. And it's kind of weird because like he's reaching out to me, right? And you know what, I've talked about distractions before, how like everything in life is kind of a distraction to reality, like the true reality or a true reality. I don't know if this ever happens to you guys. Like I don't know how aware or not aware you guys are. I'm not like a super spiritual person. I just know things. Does that make sense? Like I'm not always seeing pretty colors. I can't see auras. I know a lot of people are woke, you know, but I'm not one of those people that is constantly like awoken. These these thoughts and these messages that I learn come in little tiny waves, and I learn things one by one. It's not like whoa. The only time the whoa moment happens is when I'm spinning out or I'm going to a higher consciousness. I don't know what to call it. And that usually only happens if I smoke weed or do some psychedelics, and that's where I'm like hit with this overload information, and then when I come back to reality, I only remember a tiny portion bit of what I experienced, and then I get PTSD flashbacks when I have these things pop out at me, like the spiral and the beat, for example, that I talked about in my last video, or that's how I get the messages in slow little waves. But, if you think about it, life is just weird. Like, you blink your eyes and you can see. Like, you can see things, And, like, sorry, my eyes have been, like, watery, so, um, life is just, it's beautiful, but it's just so weird. Like, I remember when I was little, I used to blink my eyes over and over and be like, I'm actually alive right now, and I would blink them over and over again. And my dad would be driving, and the palm trees would be like in the window, and I would just blink my eyes like over and over, being like, this is so weird. And I don't know, it's interesting because what I was saying, like, I was talking about this same stuff a year ago at a kickback, or close to a year ago. Because he just messaged me and was like, oh, it was my birthday that day and we really clicked. And, like, he's reaching out to me, I haven't talked to him. I mean, I tried to hook up with them, not hook up with them like that, It's not like that. Um, I tried to, hang out with him, but it just didn't work out. And all of a sudden, he just re-hit me up. And I've been having these thoughts about, oh, am I going to spin out? You know, like, is something going to happen? And I don't know if the spinning out is the ultimate truth. I don't know if it's the fear that's making me like feel that way. I feel like we all spin out, but we don't remember it. And when we come back, we're just living like our normal life. And it's kind of weird that I'm like reaching out on YouTube, you know? Like I'm reaching out on YouTube even though I know that only a few people are going to watch it, and they're not going to watch it right now when I feel like I want someone to talk to or need someone to talk to. It's like this stuff happens when it either happens when everybody around, like, it either happens at the worst time or the time when you're alone. Like, it can happen really any time. It can hit you in the face, or it can, like, be like what it is right now, where the actions that you do prepare yourself to go through it, you know? And I don't know, man. Like, I'm always reaching out to try to find people to connect with and talk about it, because I know I'm not the only one. Like when this stuff first started happening and I made that video that has like 1,200 views, I felt like I was fucking insane and that I was the only one. But with the comments that I got, like, of course some people call me a nut cuz like they're just not willing to open their mind to it and look into it and accept it, you know, cuz people are just not, it's not their time, you know. I used to be like that. I literally used to be like that, you know? And it's just, I don't know why. I'm just making this video because I feel lonely, and I thought I would share this message with you guys because this is a message for me, you know? Like, when you know something, you know, and if you try to deny it, it's just gonna hit you harder. So, I'm just trying to, I don't know. I just got all these like crazy thoughts, like I'm just talking to myself. Like, I'm not really Angela Siefner, you know. Like, I'm just reaching out to YouTube to talk to myself. Like, you are me and I am you. And but at the same time, we're not, you know, cuz we're living in this reality where we all are who we think we are. I'm Angela, you know. My dad is Thomas, you know, my mom, or was Thomas. My mom was Ginger. My brother is Anthony, you know. So it's just really crazy that I'm getting these like thoughts and impulses like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, go crazy in a minute. Life is still here. Like, we're still living this life, but we, you know, I mean, I don't know the answers, but, or I do know the answers. They're just way, 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 way hidden, you know. Me as Angela, I don't know the answers, but my true self knows them. Like, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, it's kind of weird because I'm like, am I supposed to end this video? Am I supposed to spin out on this video? Like, is reality supposed to just go boom and hit me in the face? Like, you know, if you guys should think twice about like people who are labeled as schizophrenic or psychosis or what. I mean, I'm not schizophrenic because I do have psychosis issues, and I feel like anyone could have psychosis issues if you start thinking about shit too deep. You can definitely get psychosis, and if you don't know psychosis, then that's what they label it as. They label it as psychosis, but what is it really? You know, what is it really? That's the question. It's not really a label. It's not really an illness. There's a reason why it's happening, and it's not just because, oh, something went wrong. I mean, it might be because something went wrong, but what is the reason that it went wrong deeper than science? You know, science is spirituality. Like, where's the deeper meaning? And people don't look for that. They just live in this reality, and they don't question this reality. And it's just hard to live. It's hard to live in a place where people don't question it, and you're trying to talk about it with people, and you think that you're connecting with someone, and then you say something and they don't know what you're talking about, and then you're like, oh, you don't get it, you know, and then they say something and they think you know what they're talking about, but then they're like, oh, you don't get it. So like, why does this I'm just gonna tell you guys like random thoughts, you know, as I'm explaining this. I'm like, why does any of it even matter? Like, why does my existence matter? Like, if I think about it, like, okay, why does it matter if I spin out, you know? Like, why does that really matter? Because I'm afraid of it? Because I don't want to? Like, but what really makes it matter, you know? Like, what really makes it matter for me not, or to spin out? What makes it matter if I die right now? What makes it matter if the consequences of my death hurt someone else? Like, what is the meaning of that? And what is the question is not necessarily why does it matter? I mean, that is the ultimate question, but what do you truly lose or gain from it if the only purpose in life is to live? You know, if the only purpose in spirituality is to exist, you know, the only purpose then is to make experience, to make life the best way that it can be. And that's what a lot of people believe. A lot of people believe that we are here to expand the consciousness and to help humanity, like the people that are woke and that do use it for good. But like, what is the purpose to that, you know? What is the ultimate? I mean, when you get to where you want to be, you know, and then the question is, well, does the ultimate being cause misery just to make it have a purpose, you know? Like, and the thought can even go back to God. Like, if God knew what was going to happen with the humans before he even, why would he ask the question? You know, why would he tell them don't eat the fruit if he knew they were going to eat it? Why would he cause that? I just don't get that. Like, and that's why, like, sometimes I'm reluctant to believe in Christianity. Not that I don't believe in God, that I don't believe in an all higher source, a higher power, you know, but what is the purpose of that? Really? Like, what? And now it exists, obviously, like, evil. Okay, when I say good and evil, I mean growth or destruction. Like, that's my definition of good equals growth and prospering, and evil equals destruction. So anything that's, like, take drug addicts, for example. Like, they just cause misery and pain on themselves and everybody around them. And then their actions affect, you know, their actions affect the people around them. And then the people around them affect the people that they're around. that are around them. So like destruction and misery, like, and I'm forgetting about yin and yang, like the good and bad cannot exist without each other. So there's supposed to be a balance. But this world is way off balance with bad right now, supposedly. But it's that question like, oh, we were created because we were bored. So I guess I'm just saying, like, why does it really matter if I spin out or not? Because it's miserable? Because I'm afraid of it? Like, I'll end up in hell? But the only reason why that matters is because I don't want to suffer. You know? But, like, if you don't care, if there's no meaning, like, if you don't care about suffering, then it's not really suffering anymore. It's just like, oh, you know? So, I just think about that, and I don't really explain my thought processes, my thought process when I do these videos. I kind of just, like, tell you guys the messages and stuff, but my thinking goes really deep, and there's things that I can't say out loud because we use 10% of our brain at one time. So when I speak, and even when my eyes are open, when I'm speaking, I'm using that whatever percentage that I wouldn't be using if my eyes were closed and I wasn't speaking. So, of course, when you think about things in your head and you rationalize things, it makes a lot more sense. Or when you smoke weed, it opens up different parts of your brain. It maybe even enhances the type of the percentage of what you use. And same thing with any drug. Any drug can make you quote unquote spin out. I just call it that. It can make you go to a higher consciousness. Any drug can do that. It doesn't have to be psychedelics, but the lessons are always going to be, they may be different, but it's going to be the same purpose, Or I can't say that. You're going to learn different lessons from different actions that you take. And my boyfriend told me that the time loop on acid is a lesson to not do the acid, to not do psychedelics. I don't know if I believe that, but it kind of makes sense. When you experience a time loop, you're a part of the universe that can't accept what's going on. I've had so many different experiences that this spinning out thing, this one in particular thing that I'm talking about, spinning out, isn't what I've experienced every time I've done drugs. I've only spun out when either with weed or with nothing, basically. And I don't remember it. I've done it in my dreams. I just remember the feeling, and I remember the signs, And it's a scary feeling when you feel like you remember all this stuff, but you don't remember why it's happening until everything, like, hits you in the face. And then you're there, and you're like, at that point, you can't function, and you can't control your mind, and things just start controlling you, And I don't know. Like, a part of me wants to go wake up my boyfriend and talk to him. And this is like the other step of it too. Like the thought process of trusting people or not. And like what I think about is, oh, if I go and wake him up and talk to him about it, am I just stopping something that's supposed to happen from happening? And like, is it a bad thing? Basically, like, is it not a good thing for me to go out there and do that? Like, is it bad for me to trust someone? Is it bad for me to talk to somebody? Because what if the whole objective of this reality is to help each other not spin out? And then the thinking process goes from there to, well, if that's the purpose, then yes, it's a good thing for me to go out there, but is the purpose a good purpose? And then you get into, well, what's good and what's bad? Well, bad is this and bad is that, and good is this and good is that. And it's just like, and then what I was saying earlier about, oh, it depends on what frequency you listen to. I should listen to my advice, I guess. I guess doing this video is like helping me process things, because I feel like I'm talking to an audience, but I'm really talking to myself, trying to help. It started off as me trying to reach out, but now I'm just like talking myself through it. You know? You ever just look around you and does anyone ever see like little rainbow, like twisty spirals? I don't know. I'm just asking, does anyone ever see those, like when they look up, like just tiny little twisty rainbow spirals, and like, yeah, and it feels like they're speaking to you, like, oh, this isn't real, blah, blah, blah. But like, there are good people in this reality, because, there's really good people and really loving people. And I don't know, man. I know that my purpose on this earth I've made my purpose to make humanity a better place. I'm going to be a teacher one day, because there were some really good teachers I had that helped me through a lot, and there were some messed up teachers that caused me a few traumatic, like, it really affected me. I mean, they were they weren't really small. Like, I had this teacher who, like, my dad was a single dad half the time, because my mom, like, my mom had a really messed up childhood. And so she made our childhood really bad and ruined, like, her marriage with my dad over drugs and money. And, like, so anyways, my dad, like, raised us most of the time. I mean, when my dad got sick, my mom tried to raise us. Like, she did a really good job for 2.5 years, but then, she went and fucked that up. I had this teacher who, this is just one of the stories I'm gonna say. This really, like, when I look back at it, it makes me angry and it makes me want to cry, because I'm like, why would you do that? Like, what was the purpose of that? She was really hot too. Like, she was a hot, young, 25, blonde hair, blue-eyed girl, tan. And, she, so she was always picking on me, like, I mean, I'm sure she, made me a better student or whatever, but I only remember the bad that she did. I don't remember the good that she did for me. Oh, now I do. I mean, I became a better reader. That's what it was. I became a better reader, um, reading in her class, but I don't know if that was because of her or because of me, you know? And anyways, she made me breathe in her face to smell my breath. And she said, "Your breath smells really bad. You need to brush your teeth." And I used to do mouthwash because what fucking kid likes brushing their teeth, you know? And I didn't have my dad, like mothers, you know, they do that. Did you brush your teeth, honey? Blah, blah, blah. They do all that stuff, okay? My dad worked a full-time job and he just wanted to get us to school in the morning, you know? And, so I would just use mouthwash. And she made me brush my teeth in front of the class. She planned that. You know, like when I was a kid, I didn't understand because you don't understand that type of thing. You just look at her as you look at your teachers as authority figures and you say, you know, okay. But now that I look back, like it just makes me angry. It makes me upset, you know, like what was the purpose in that? Like you humiliated me in front of a bunch of fucking kids and made me brush my teeth in front of the fucking class. Like, and I even asked her, like, "Oh, I'll go to the bathroom and do it." She's like, "No, you're gonna do it right here." And then I had another teacher who fucking called me all these names, not bad words, but she called me like disrespectful, dishonest, disobedient. She was just a bitch, but I did learn a lot from her. She taught me a lot. She helped me with my math. I used to come to class 30 minutes early every day to correct my math homework because she would correct our work and make us correct it until we got it right. So, I mean, I am thankful for that, you know, but I'm still terrible at math. Fuck math. But, I wanted to go to this school dance thing and I asked her, you know, if I could go to the library because it was like reading counts where you would read books and then you'd take quizzes on them and you'd get points for the books and you would um you know, I wanted to go to this school dance and I needed 210 points. I had like 200 points and I'd been reading books like crazy. You know, I'd just been doing so good with that. Like I was so motivated. I just wanted to go to that dance. And I asked her cuz I'm diabetic. I asked her if I could go to the nurse's office uh cuz it was like the last 3 days and I needed to read a book in 3 days to to pass it so I could go to the dance. And she said no, I couldn't go to the library. Well, I went anyways, and the librarian was talking to me for too long, and I ended up being late. And the nurse, the school, she wasn't even a fucking nurse. That lady was a bitch too. Now I'm getting angry because I'm thinking about all these people that were just fucked up. Um. Anyways, I got caught and she scolded me and told me that I was dishonest and disrespectful and disobedient. And she said something else like, "You're not going to the dance, you don't deserve to," or something. Um, and that makes me really angry and it makes me upset. Like, why do teachers do that? Like, I don't, why are you going to be a teacher if you're just going to put your students down? And that's not the point of being a teacher. You know, you're supposed to want to better humanity. And I don't know. And then I had really good teachers. I'm not going to say, you know, all my teachers mentally screwed me up or whatever, but now I'm just rambling. Like, this goes back to my thinking process of what is the purpose of this? Like, okay, yeah, there's suffering, yeah, there's happiness, but what is that happiness and suffering? What's the core meaning of it all? you know? And I guess the simplest answer is we just exist, and those things just exist. They just do. Good and bad, evil and great or good. Growth and destruction, they just do. They just exist. And I don't know if I'm supposed to spin out now, but that's kind of like weird, you know? Um, do you guys ever just lay there and feel like, I don't know if any of you know what spinning out is or my version of it, or entering the void, I guess, if you want to call it that. Maybe I've been using the wrong terminology. Entering the void, you know, if you just lay back and start seeing the room like move. I mean, it happens when you do shrooms, when you do psychedelics, like you breathe and the walls breathe with you. But this is like a little different. This is like it's starting to breathe with you without doing drugs. I'm gonna end the video now. It's been 30 minutes. It's a long time to be listening to someone's cuckoo shit. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go. I might not even post this, so. Alright, bye.